Hello, my friends, family, allies, enemies. I have risked $50,000 on USDCHF, and we are currently more than halfway to the profit target. And I can't talk like that for the whole video, so I'll just switch to my normal English accent. So here we have USDCHF. Now I sold right up here. I posted this trade here in the free Telegram channel. The link is in the description. I'll put it in the pinned comment too, so you can join it. It's just a free Telegram channel where I share my trades live. All right, so I posted this analysis here yesterday, and then I posted this little hint right here. That USDCHF was ready. She was at the perfect entry. And then in my Discord server, I called the exact trade right here yesterday, 11:51 a.m. Check it out. This is exactly what it looked like the moment I entered. What was the reason for the trade? We sold at resistance. We put a stop loss above the zone. We put a target below at 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. And then we risked a dollar amount that we're comfortable with. For me, I risk anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 right now. I've taken a $350,000 account that I funded almost 8 months ago last year. In September, October. And then now we are currently in July of 2026. So for the past 8 months, calling every single trade live in real time, fully time-stamped everything, all the entries, the exits, the management updates, everything. I've grown the account from $350,000 to almost, if this trade wins here in a little bit, $960,000. And once I get this account to $1 million, I'm going to withdraw half, which is about $500K. I'm going to pay taxes, which will be about $200,000 more or less. And then I'll get to keep $300K cold hard cash. So many hookers and so many cocaine. I'm just kidding. No, we're not gonna do any of that. But the cool part about that is this is the same shit over and over and over again. We buy at support, we sell at resistance on the higher time frames like weekly and daily, and then doing that over and over again, we get to make money long term because we always make a little bit more than we lose long term. Now, for those of you who have never been here to my channel before, check this out. Okay, the big question is, how do you make money if you're using 1-to-1 risk reward ratio? It's simple. It's simple. Pay attention. The reason is because when we get into a trade, the 1-to-1 risk reward ratio is basically just like a framing for the risk on the trade. It's like the worst case scenario. It goes to the stop, it hits you out. The best case scenario, which happens most of the time, is that if price starts going sideways, or it starts breaking slightly above the zone, or it starts breaking above the zone in the daily and then closes slightly above the zone, or does anything weird like that and does not go immediately into profit, we get the hell out of the trade. So most trades result in a break even, or a small profit or a small loss, that loss being maybe like a third or a half of what the actual stop loss is. So when we lose around maybe break even or halfway to the stop loss, but when we win, most of the winning trades are held to the profit target. That is the beauty behind this trading approach. It does not work with 1-to-2 risk reward ratios because you get clapped out there at 1-to-2 and it doesn't actually teach you the skill set of trading, which is discretion and being able to account for the context and using your subjective judgment as a result of all your applied experience to use your intuition to be able to make the trading decisions that result in profitability long term. Your management decisions for the duration of the time whenever you open the trade versus when you close the trade, those management decisions are what makes you profitable. It is those subjective discretionary decisions. That is your edge in trading. You do not have a black and white mechanical system and edge in trading. You cannot get out of the statistics or the mathematics in trading. You are going to lose money long term unless you get the experience that is required to start making the decisions that actually work, which is why I share my trades here in my Discord server and in Telegram. So you can see this shit happen in real time, day after day after day. It's something almost no one does, let alone do it for free for the past 8 years that I've run my free Telegram channel. So with that said, that is why we got into USDCHF. Currently, this is what it looked like at 8:30 this morning. I think it's in a little bit more profit now, but we're more than halfway to the profit target. Halfway would be 25K. This was at $36,000 this morning. And it is bouncing here away from the little weekly resistance zone. And it's so simple too. I mean, it's not rocket science. We draw these major zones in the chart. We set the little trading view alerts whenever it gets up into the zone. And then when it gets into the zone, we just enter a buy or sell based on whether it's at support or resistance. And then with this right here, this is the account right now. It's currently at 947,000 at the last time this was updated at 8:30 a.m. So it was about, 3 hours ago or so. And now looks like we're coming back up just a little bit. Had a little bit of a retrace, which is kind of natural. What we might see is we might see price come here to these little recent highs and then bounce there. And then we might continue down. Or maybe we not. Maybe not. Maybe we continue up. So we'll have to see what happens. Now, this is USDCHF. I will be holding this. I do not intend to close this trade unless it gets to the profit target. Then my account will be like to what, 960,000. I need one more trade to get it to the $1 million growth target. And everybody has watched this account go live for the whole time for the past 8 months. I've almost tripled this account over the course of the past 8 months. Same account with every single thing being called live, full P&L history, everything timestamped. Almost no one can do that shit. That's if someone else can do that consistently for a period of like 8 months, let alone a year or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 8 years like I've been doing the Telegram channel. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to see it because there are people that can do it, but there's just not very many. So it's a very rare skill to have to actually be profitable trading, since trading is risky and most people do in fact lose money. Now, GBP AUD. We were going to sell this yesterday, but price did not get all the way up here into the resistance zone that I wanted to sell at. And because of that, I ended up missing this whole movement down here. Now, that's okay, because, it is what it is. You can't win them all. But this started going down, lower highs, lower lows. The problem is I can't just enter down here because it screws up the risk structure. It just screws it up so bad. Let me show you what the risk structure looks like if that's the case. If you enter down there yesterday, and we put a stop loss nice and clear, not just above the zone, but not a million miles away from the zone either. But if we put it like a good amount above the zone, the profit target has to be down here. Okay, that's a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. This is just to structure the risk on the trade. Now imagine if instead of that, we enter here at the resistance zone where the alert is at. So right along, just the highs of the resistance zone. We're not entering below it. We're not entering at the bottom. We're waiting for it to come into the damn resistance zone, and we're selling at a good price inside the resistance zone. If we had just done that, with the same stop loss, mind you, the same exact stop loss and the same target down there, this is now almost a 1-to-2 risk reward ratio. But wait, there's more because we don't use 1-to-2. We just use 1-to-1. Look at how quickly the profit targets get hit with 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. We would have already been out of this trade this morning, like an hour or two ago. Looks like about 3 hours ago, we would have already been out of this one. That is the beauty behind this. The trade duration is shorter. The profit you can make is generally greater because you're not trying to be a hero and catch the next 69,000 pip move. You are only having to catch a small amount of movement, generally between 50 to 100 pips. Sometimes it's more. Sometimes it's like 100 or 200 pips, just depending on the currency pair, because they all move at different speeds, and some of them move more in terms of pips per day than others. It's all fine and dandy. But in general, you don't have to catch 1,000 pip moves, right? In this case, this would have been 143 pips. Not that big of a deal. USD CHF, how much profit are we in right now from selling up here? I don't know exactly where we sold. Where did we sell? Like right here, maybe? From where we've sold, this is in 40 pips of profit. If it goes down here to the profit target, it will be maybe 80, 90, less than 100 pips of profit, right? So it's like, it depends for every single pair. Every single pair is different. But the whole goal of this is we wait for price to get into a super clear, sexy, very beautiful, resistance zone or support zone. Don't want to leave out the support. And then we sell if it's at resistance with a stop above and a target below at 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. And if it comes into a support zone, well, guess what? We do the same damn thing. We just do it vice versa. This is probably not a support zone I'd use because we've got this weird little candle leaking through it here. But just to show you the risk and structure, right? Price gets down there in that zone, buy somewhere in the zone, not above the zone, not before the zone, not when price breaks the zone, but you buy inside the zone. Stop goes below the zone, and in my case, I'd probably put it below that low right there as well, just to be safe. And then a profit target of 1-to-1. All price has to do is come into a zone and then bounce. And if you have just the tiniest little bounce away from it, then you make a nice little profit. And you hold it if it goes towards the profit target. Sometimes I'll close a trade before the profit target. Okay. Lord forgive, I take profit on a trade that's 90% of the way to the profit target, and I'm in over $100,000 of profit, and the market's about to close because it's about to be a weekend, and I have to hold over the weekend and battle spreads and swaps and gaps and more commissions and fees on the trade. Lord forbid, I just close it there. But generally speaking, you want to hold the winning trades to the profit target. And generally speaking, when a trade starts to lose, you want to try to get out of it early. Some trades are going to hit the stop loss, and that's okay. That's what a stop loss is for. The worst case scenario, if you get stopped out, is you lose whatever you made on the last winning trade that hit the profit target. But generally speaking, you can get out of trades before that if they start to break the zone. That's why you should follow my Telegram and watch all this shit play out live and watch these recap videos and exactly what I did. And if you want to see everything happen like actually live in real time with all my exact trades and all the management updates, it's in the Discord server. I post a link to the Discord maybe like once a week, twice a week here in the Telegram channel. I actually posted it yesterday right there. But I posted in here. But for most of this stuff, you could just see me like posting all of this and all of the analysis and all the P&L history and all this shit I post in here. I think there was a P&L update I did showing the full from like all the profit on the account that's been made so far. This is back in Colorado. It was in this YouTube video right here, but check it out. $350,000 deposit. You could just go watch this YouTube video as well. And And at that point in time, I had made $730,000 in profits. The account had got to 880,000. And again, mind you, it's at like 940,000 now. So there's been more profit since then. But it's been, oh my gosh, we've had such a crazy win streak the past 8 months, even with all the ups and downs, right? There's been periods of time where it's been break even. It's all back and forth, up and down. But it is, it's very nice, and it's very easy to do this. Like, I hesitate to use that word because people are like, oh, trading's not easy. But it's like, I'm required to say that for all the dumb fucks that are going to lose money trading. And if you get mad at me because I'm calling you a dumb fuck because you're losing money trading, mind you, I'm a dumb fuck as well. I'm barely profitable. Like, the only reason I'm profitable is just because I control risk well and get out a little bit early. And then now that I have a ton of capital to trade with because I've been trading the past decade, can't believe I've spent the past decade of my life gambling on the Forex market. But the fact that I have a lot of capital to trade with means I only need to make like 1 R per month. Like, I make 1 unit to 2 units of profit per month. So if I'm risking 50K per trade and I take, say, 8 trades per month on average, I'm only coming out on top about 1 unit of reward, which is anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000. It's like 1 to 2 units of profit. It's not a lot, but it's fucking consistent and it works. And I risk a good portion of the account per trade. I put my money where my mouth is. I don't risk the whole, I don't do the whole, 0.1% or 0.5% or 1% risk of the account per trade. I don't do that. It's too fucking boring. It takes way too long. But I also don't risk like 80% of the account per trade or the whole account per trade, right? I do a threshold that works for me, which for me personally, it may sound insane to you. I recognize that, but I risk about 10 to 20% of the account per trade. And I don't have all my capital allocated to Forex either. I've got it split up evenly between equities, which is US stocks, mostly the S&P 500 index, and then cryptocurrency, which at this point in time is mostly Solana. It's also crashed a lot the past 7 months. I'm down quite a bit, almost $1 million on that. Wiped out a third of what I made last year just in the past 6 months holding Solana, 6 to 7 months. And then I also allocate a third of my capital to trade with Forex. And of the capital allocated to trading Forex with, I just put a small portion of that into an account. In this case, it was $350K. That was a portion of my capital allocated to trading Forex. And I split it about a third between each financial market: equities, crypto, and Forex. So here on the charts, we've got USD CHF and GBP AUD. I'm going to go down here. I don't really see any other setups on these, so we'll just click through them. Nothing on GJ, nothing on GBP CAD. She's starting to turn back around. This trade would have won had we stayed in this trade. But you know what? It's not that big of a deal because we had a big ass win on GBP NZD. This thing kept going. Oh my God. We sold here at the resistance zone. We closed GBP CAD and GBP JPY. Wait, it was GBP CAD and GBP AUD, or it was 2 of these other ones. I think it was GCAD and GBP AUD. We closed those, and then we just entered everything on this with 200K risk. This went into, I think, $160,000 of profit. Then we closed it. I wanted to get out because we had to move really, really quickly. And guess what? That punished me because I would have made an extra $40,000 had I held. Call me what you want in the comments. Call me a bitch. It's fine. I'm still making money hand over fist. But I got out of this a little bit early, like maybe 75, 80% of the way to the profit target. Yeah, I ended up just continuing down. So yeah, I missed out on an extra 40K. Imagine if I had held this all the way. This would have been like a $400,000 winner because my entry was literally right up here at the tippy top. If you don't believe me, go and check it in the Telegram channel. As a matter of fact, let's just go look for ourselves in the Telegram channel because I posted this here. This was GBP NZD. So again, you can see right there, selling at the resistance. Let's see where the exact entry was. Okay, I lied. It was a couple pips lower. It was 2.3484. So 2.3484 was like right here. Okay, so it wasn't the tippy top. It was just below the tippy top, which is basically still the tippy top because that's the point it reversed. This one went into a nice profit target. We were going there. You could see this is the amount of profit it was in at that time, which is $156,000. When the hell was this? This was on July 9th. Okay, so July 9th, and what is today? July 14th. It's 5 days ago. And this had went into a nice profit, and then I ended up closing it just before that profit target was met at around $160,000 profit. And yeah, so here it was right here. Yeah, this is another video. I make recaps of all of these. So y'all go and watch all the recaps because I don't know how else to say that I just buy at support and sell at resistance on the higher time frames. I don't know how to make it any more complicated or magical or mysterious to attract more customers to my business, to learn trading from me, to make it seem like it's something that only the elites can do and the banks and the market manipulations and institutions. I don't understand any of that bullshit. Like, I literally don't get it at all. I'm not that smart of a person. Okay. You're probably equally as retarded as me because most people are, in fact, average level of intelligence or a little bit of a deviation away from the average. I don't consider myself very smart. I'm not a complete like fucking retard, but I'm also not a genius either. I'm like I'm somewhere in between. I'm average. But I figured out this specific skill set of trading, which has allowed me to make shit tons of money, millions of dollars in Forex and crypto and stocks over the course of the past decade that I've been trading. Okay, it's absolutely ridiculous what this skill set can do for you. And I found that what works best for me is just to keep things really simple and then control risk. If I just do those two things, like, trading is not complicated. It takes me like 5 to 10 minutes, in the morning and then in the evening. We'll just say an hour a day. Sometimes I spend more time on the charts because I'm helping clients and stuff and sending them analysis. So I might spend 2 hours per day on the charts. But really, I only would probably need, if I wasn't doing this YouTube channel and running my business and everything, I'd probably spend like 30 minutes to an hour on charts per day. It's really not that complicated because it's so simple. Simplicity. The second thing is risk management. I define the exact amount of money I want to risk per trade for every single trade. I don't go into a trade just like, oh, we're just going to risk $1 million on it because that's the account. The account is the stop loss. I don't do that, right? I just risk a set amount per trade, and I risk an amount I'm comfortable with per trade, and that works for me. So yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty great. It's pretty sexy. It continues to work. It's worked for a very long time, and we show no signs of slowing down as this account is about to get to the $1 million growth target. Then what I'm going to do after I get to $1 million on this account, it could happen this week. It could happen a month from now. It could maybe even take more than that. I hope not, but it could. We don't know exactly what will happen. But assuming I get this account to the growth target, $1 million, when I take out half of it, I'm going to restart a fresh account. I'll probably just internal transfer to a new account to get a new deposit line to make the tracking a lot easier. But it'll be a new account. I'll put $500K into it. And then with that one, I'm going to grow it to 1.5 million. So then I'll do $1 million of profit, and we'll see how long it takes me. Maybe I estimate 6 to 12 months. Could be quicker, could be longer. But I mean, honestly, if I was able to make $1 million just in a 12-month period from just Forex alone, not even counting crypto and stocks and the capital appreciation of the S&P 500 index, that would be amazing if I could just pull in $1 million a year from Forex trading. That is so wild. That's crazy. I mean, this year it's already going to be, this is only 8 months, but 350K to $1 million. You do the math, right? That's 650,000, right? Yeah, 650K. If I could even just make 500K for the year in Forex, that's pretty freaking wild. Because after taxes, that's like 300 grand. That's pretty crazy. But yeah, and everything is shared here live in real time. I put my money where my mouth is. I show it all. And this trade on GBP NZD was absolutely beautiful. And all we did was sell at resistance with a stop above and a target below at 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. Stupidly simple. AUD USD looks like she's headed up from here. I was waiting on an entry there where the alert is at to buy. She didn't get there. Nothing to do right now. CHF JPY, I remain waiting nice and patiently. I've got my steak here, my Wagyu beef. I've got my garlic butter ready to apply to it. It's seared up. It's a nice reverse sear. It's crispy. All I'm waiting is for the steak to rest. So the steak needs to rest by coming down here, and then I'll be ready to start feasting by buying right there. Or the steak could turn out to be bad and it's rotten and price breaks the zone and it's a rotten trade and end up losing money. But, unless that happens, I'm thinking this might have a nice bounce here. So I'll be looking to buy CHF JPY when we get right there into the support zone. Euro GBP, we are still waiting. Looks like she's finally showing some signs of life of coming back up here. All I'm basically waiting for is to come up here and retest this little support resistance zone. Basically, it's only been support since we've had this zone back in 2025, midway through last year. So this is 1 year of price data you're seeing on the chart. Right here is 1 year of price data. If we can come back up here and retest this zone, I think it'd be great to sell. Honestly, it'd be a nice little simple break and retest trade. I'll put a stop loss above the zone, target below at 1-to-1, and we'll call it a day. And probably risk like 50K on this. AUD Canadian dollar, I'm still waiting on her to come up here to this resistance zone. If you go further out, we can go to the weekly chart, I guess. It's just a weekly resistance zone. Kind of even a little bit further back as well if you want to play these mental gymnastics. But for now, I'm just using that previous high as the resistance zone, and I'm waiting for it to get all the way to that previous high to sell. They're at the resistance zone. So we will see if she gets up there. She could drop before that, and if not, she gets up there to the resistance, I'll sell with a stop above and a target below at 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. GBP USD, nothing for now. Euro AUD, nothing for now. You can see I got my alerts here to buy or sell at either one of these zones. It's like playing ping pong with her. She's going back and forth. USD Canadian dollar, nothing for now. AUD JPY, nothing for now, but it looks like she's trying with this daily candle to head up here to the resistance zone. It'd be really nice if we could sell there at that resistance zone. Really, really sexy, simple trade. USD JPY, nothing. She's still looking bullish with all these bullish candlesticks. NZD USD, nothing. Euro JPY, nothing. NZD JPY, something maybe. What is going on here? What are you doing on NZD JPY right now, my friend? Here's what I'm going to be doing on NZD JPY. We got these two little regions here. So we've got that high right there. We actually got three. We got that high, then we got this high, then we got these highs down here. I think the actual support resistance zone is like something like this, right? Because that's where most of the price action is. So that's what makes this a little bit tricky to do anything with. So in cases like this where it's a little bit tricky, where you're like, what is the zone, bro? Is it that right there? Or is it this up here, a little bit higher? You know, where price has gone. And then you consider that one little spike through the zone. You consider that, okay, this is just a fake out, the liquidity spike, the manipulation, magic trick spike, whatever the hell you idiots want to call it. Like it's price spiked through the zone and it came back below. Okay, cool, whatever. You can call it whatever you want. Fake out, liquidity spike, whatever. What I choose to do is instead of playing these games of like, okay, well, it could be this, but then it could be this, but then it could be this, but then it could be this up here. I just use the one that is the most extreme high. So in this case, I'm going to set an alert right here at this high. And if price gets there to that high, it has already gone through every single threshold, right? It's gone through this zone right here. It's gone through these highs. It's gone through that high up there. And then it's gotten all the way to this one right here. How do you want to draw the zone? You know, I really don't freaking know. It could be something like that, legitimately. And when you go to the weekly, like that's not a bad region to draw, right? It encapsulates most of the price data. I just think it'd be safer to wait for price to come all the way to that previous high, and then that could be an easy bounce, and it wouldn't have to go far. Why? Because we can structure the trade really simply right there. We can enter a sell there, and basically that's kind of what it would be. Like I'm thinking about moving the stop, but like, no, I mean, yeah, because you know we don't want to put the stop right there just above the zone. It's too close, and we don't have to put it like 3,000 pips away either. So something like, yeah, like right there would be pretty good. 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. Yeah, that would be great. I mean, it just has to fall a little bit and barely has to get out of the zone. And this is probably something I'd risk maybe 50K on, the lower threshold. Yeah, this looks pretty good actually. So I'm going to be waiting for this one. I'm going to drag this one up out of the naughty list. We're going to be having a look at NZD JPY. You know, it could take, the last time it was here and then it rocketed up to the highs, it only took 2 days. There was 2 daily candles. So we don't know. Maybe it takes a week. Maybe it doesn't happen at all. Maybe it takes a couple daily candles. We will see. But this looks like a pretty decent trade. Cool. NZD JPY. All right. So let's continue down to the next one. Let's see what we got. Nothing on Euro JPY. Nothing on Euro USD. Nothing on CAD JPY. Nothing on Euro Canadian dollar. Nothing. That is all. That's everything I have for Forex. So we'll be looking to sell USD CHF, or in my case, remain in the sells on USD CHF. On GBP AUD, we will be looking to do absolutely fucking nothing. This thing has already bounced away from the zone. Maybe if we came back, I'd consider selling, but honestly, it might be kind of late. So I don't know. NZD JPY, she is looking very sexy, like a bowl of ripe diced tomatoes getting ready to be thrown into some stir fry. She's looking super nice and fresh here. I'm waiting on NZD JPY. GJ, GCAD, GBP, NZD. Yeah, nothing on all these other ones. GCAD, some people have said, why don't you buy, Nick? Because it's a break and retest now. And I'm like, technically, yeah, but I'm kind of thinking this is going to turn into a fake out and continue down. Why? I don't know. Call it my experience, intuition, discretion, whatever it is you want to call it. I don't think it's a good place to buy, though. And I get how that would be like so confusing because you're like, but Nick, you're going to be selling Euro GBP, and that's a break and retest. And GBP CAD, sir, is a break and retest as well. So why not buy, sir? This is why trading is like subjective, right? This is why there's no black and white mechanical system. This is why there are no there's no absolutes. This is why there's no right or wrongs or good and bad or ethical framework for trading. It is based on experience if you're a manual trader. And my experience just tells me, probably skip this buy here. Just let it break below. If it broke below, I'd be more excited about something like that. It breaks below, then it comes back to retest this resistance zone and bounce away. But Nick, how do you know? I don't know. I'm just saying if this happens, then I might do XYZ. But yeah, trading is a lot of subjectivity. I hope that makes sense. It's not something that's sexy to talk about because most people want to say, all you have to do is this simple 3-step trading strategy and make millions of dollars. This is not the case in trading. I mean, you've probably tried that shit yourself before and it didn't work. And you're here watching my videos with me yelling at you, trying to figure out how to keep things simple and control risk because you've already tried this simple 3-step trading strategy that's totally not subjective at all. and then you just wait for the bullish engulfing candlestick after price comes into a zone and has 3 candles go sideways, and then it starts to go away and breaks the previous high of the candle. I don't know. I've tried shit like that. Trust me, I've tried so many trading strategies. Most of the trading strategies that you can find here on YouTube and social media and Reddit forums and all sorts of shit, I've tried almost all of it. I'm pretty sure, if not all of it. Nothing has worked except for simple support resistance zones, which is basically, it's not because they predict anything, but it's just because they give you a good way of controlling risk. Nothing's worked better than just keeping things simple and controlling risk. And doing it this way, it gives me not only mental peace and sanity, but also, as you can see, I've made money hand over fist for years doing this. I'm just convinced it's the best way to trade because it's swing trading. It doesn't take a very long time to do. You can do it with any amount of capital. You're obviously going to make less if you have lower amounts of capital, but you can do it with any amount of capital. You don't have to babysit the charts all day. It's slow and steady growth, and you never have any big losses that wipe out the account. It's beautiful in every single way. And me going through a million trading strategies and trying to learn everything when I had shiny object syndrome in the first 2 years of my trading journey, I learned my lessons on what it's like if you want to hop around with different strategies and try to figure all that shit out. It's a nightmare. Trading this way, this is the key to the kingdom. It's very safe. It's very consistent. There's plenty of profitable ways to trade, and I recognize that. I just think this is one of the easiest, if not the easiest way to trade. That's why I do this. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one, my friend. Cheers.